Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Kalaye Sundarakaram Sadaika Priyadarshanam Ajnana Nashakam Devam Sadgurum Muralidharam Murali Mandita Karakamalam Munijana Mohanam Vyatyastapadam Vanamala Dharinam Prema Bhakta Mandala Nitya Kirtitam Shri Premika Varadam Ashrayeham. Radhe Radhe everybody. By the immense grace of our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Sri Sri Muralidhar Swamiji, and by the costless mercy of our Madhuri Sakhi Premika Vardhan Thakurji, as well as our Jagannath Parivar, they were here only 2 days ago, allowing us to do Chappan Bhog to them. And today is also Hanuman Jayanti, so our prayers to Hanumanji. We are blessed to continue our year-end Utsavam with the Smarana, with the remembrance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Charitram. So here we are in Atlanta Ramadwar enjoying this year-end Utsavam, and our Guruji has established Namadwars in Atlanta and also throughout the world. It's in the US, we have several Namadwars in India and in Australia, in several places throughout the world. And the purpose for the Namadwar from our Guruji was that here Nama gets the prime importance. Everybody should do Nama, and that gets the prime importance, and everything else that we do is secondary. That is his vision. And so when our Guruji started doing Nama Prachara several years ago, the first organization that he established was called Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nama Bhiksha Kendra. The reason for that was our Guruji said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's avatara happened 500 years ago, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sowed the seeds of Nama that we are now reaping. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will see in the Charitra, his purpose of this avatara was to make people chant Nama. He tells in one of the incidents, he says, I will request people to chant Nama. If they don't chant, I'll beg them to chant Nama. Then I will fall at their feet. In spite of that, if they don't chant Nama, I'll threaten them. I'll tear them apart until they do Nama, because it's for their own good. And so our Guruji says, if this Nama has taken a form, it would be in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is both Nama Avatara as well as Prema Avatara. Chaitanya Deva Sharanam, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sharanam, Sharanam, Chaitanya Deva Sharanam. Varandayan Idayatil Krishna Premayai Niyum Telitiduvaye Chaitanya Deva Sharanam. Chaitanya Deva Sharanam, Sharanam, Chaitanya Deva Sharanam. So we all know this sloka, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata. So whenever there is adharma in this world, Bhagavan descends in one of his avatara and fixes those problems. So before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's avatara, India was going through several big problems. We had the Mughal invasion. They were doing conversion of religion, they were killing people, they were looting our temples. That was one problem. The second problem was, from within Sanatana Dharma, we were being destroyed. So for all the problems that the Mughals had, they never touched our education system. So during that time, the education system that we had was excellent. There were a lot of pandits and people who are experts in Vyakaranam, Nyaya Shastra, Tarka Shastra, all kinds of Siddhanta, they were there. But the issue was they didn't understand the end point of all this education. They thought that the end point of all this education was to do debates, to do Vyakyanam with each other, fight with each other, and then decide who is the biggest pandit. And they thought that bhajana and bhakti and nama sankirtan was only for fools. Our Guruji says in a joking way, he says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mutamate. So these people think that only Mudas can do bhajana. It's actually the other way, right? So that was the prevalent thinking at that time. And these pandits, they thought that bhajans and nama sankirtan was only for the illiterate people. So that was the second problem. And then there was another problem. Even those who had bhakti were doing bhakti in the wrong way. what they were doing was, in the name of bhakti, they were doing bali of animals. They were even doing narabali to satisfy Kali or some other god. They were doing all these apacharam of bhakti. So these were the problems and these were the situation where this avatara became essential to destroy all these negativities. So our Guruji sings in our Nama anthem, he sings, Chaitanya Devarum Nityanandarum Bhakti Vellam Paichiya Kirtanam Padire Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. So the obvious purpose of this avatara was Nama Pracharam. That was the outward reason, that was the reason. But there was also an interior reason. There was a Antaranga Karana. There was a secret reason for why this avatara happened. And that reason is that Krishna wanted to experience the love that Radha had, the prema bhakti that Radha had for him. That was the secret reason. So let us go back to Dwapara Yuga. Krishna is ruling Dwaraka. Krishna along with his brother Balarama and sister, they go to Puri to meet their aunt Shruta Devi. They go in a chariot, and that is the whole reason why the Ratha Yatra is done today. That is the basis of that. And at that time, Krishna is staying with his aunt for some time, and Narada Muni comes there after visiting Vrindavan. And Krishna asks Narada Muni, how is Radha doing? How are people in Vrindavan doing? And Narada says, everybody is fine, but Radha is in complete viraha. She is completely thinking only about you. She is not able to do anything in her life. And she's in complete viraha bhava throughout. So listening to this, Krishna thinks, how it would be if I can take an avatara where I can do this, I can enjoy this feeling of Radha. So Krishna descends as an avatara which has a heart of Radha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a Krishna avatara but with the heart of Radha Devi. Our Guruji says Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has both Bhagavata Bhava. He's in the form of God as an avatara, but he also has a Bhagavata Bhava. Both Bhagavat Bhava and Bhagavata Bhava are in equal proportions. You will see in the Charitram that throughout the time that he's in Navadvip, he does Bala Leelas just like Krishna did. He gives darshan to several of his devotees, and then once we shift to Puri, you will see that he is in the Bhagavata Bhava. He is in the Bhava of a Bhakta throughout the Puri Kshetra. So that is kind of the background to this avatara. Now we move to the place where this avatara happened. So it was in Navadvip in West Bengal in the year 1486. The parents, they were blessed to have this avatara were Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. And their story is so similar to Devaki and Vasudeva. So they had 8 children who were born and died, 8 girls that were born and then they died. And so now Sachi Mata is again pregnant after that. And she's very worried whether this child will survive. At that time, Advaitacharya, who is a prominent sannyas, prominent Mahan in that region, he comes home one day. They invite him home, they serve him very nicely, and then as he leaves, he blesses the couple that a Mahapurusha will be born. So a few months later, this baby is born, and that baby is named Vishwarupan, and that is the elder brother of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is born. He is the Mahapurusha. And then this Vishwarupan grows up. He becomes around 8-9 years old, and at that time he is in the Patashala of Advaitacharya. He's going to his classes, and at that time Sachimata is again pregnant. Now she's much older, and she's again pregnant, and now she thinks it's even more riskier to have this baby, and she's more afraid. Again, Vishwarupan invites Advaitacharya home for lunch, and they serve him very nicely. Vishwarupan and Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi, they all very nicely serve him. And when he leaves, he blesses that an Avatara Purusha will be born. And how does Advaitacharya know that an Avatara Purusha is going to be born? So the reason is he knows. He has done the prerana. So our Guruji says for any avatara to happen, there has to be a prerana. Somebody has to pray for it. So he has done that prayer. And kind of taking a little bit back, Advaita Acharya in the past has met Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri, you will see him appear over and over throughout this Charitram. Madhavendra Puri was the descendant or in the line of Madhvacharya from the Madhva Sampradaya. And Madhavendra Puri is a great saint. And so this Advaita Acharya meets Madhavendra Puri and tells him, I see that bhakti is in a bad way right now. It's being spoiled by people. People are doing it in the wrong way. So he asked him, can you bless that God should come in an avatara form and fix all these issues? So Madhavendra Puri, he says, definitely it will happen. You do a sankalpa, you do a hunkara and pray that Bhagavan should come down, he'll definitely come. So from that time, Advaita Acharya, during his daily Shalagrama pujas, he has been doing this hunkara every day and praying that this avatara should happen. And now that avatara is going to happen, that's how he's able to bless the couple that avatara Purusha is going to be born. So it is the holy day of Falguna Paurnami in Navadvip in the year 1486, and it's the day of Holi, the festival Holi, and everybody is taking part in the river Ganga. They are doing pujas, they are chanting nama. It's a great day to do dhanam. So the whole city is glowing with lights and nama chanting. So at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's avatara is born, and Purnimaji says here it's a anayasa jananam. It happens very easily. So Sachimata is alone at home at that time because everybody has gone to take Ganga Snanam, and she comes out of the house, stands in front of a neem tree, and the Jananam just happens. He's born, the child is born, and because it was under a neem tree, he's named Nimai. So Nimai is the Chellapet, the nickname that's given to Mahaprabhu, and then our Advaita Acharya names him Vishwambara, and then the child is put in a cradle, and he starts crying suddenly. Everybody is around, he starts crying, and inconsolably, nobody is able to console him. So everybody tries different things. Is he in pain? Is he hungry? Everything. But the only thing that stops his crying is Nama. Somebody starts chanting Nama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Then he stops crying. Then immediately they stop chanting Nama, he again cries. Then they chant again. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So now only the Nama chanting can stop this baby from crying. So Chachimata then decides, okay, I need to make a Nama sheet, put Nama slots for everybody. 8 to 9, this mommy will come and do Nama. 9 to 10, this mommy will come and do. 10 to 11, this mama will do. So throughout the day, somebody is coming home and doing Nama chanting all day. So right from when he was born, Mahaprabhu is now making everybody chant Nama. Then our Nimai grows up, and he performs several Bala Leelas just like Krishna did. Once he's found with a cobra in his hand, he's playing with the cobra, and then everybody is scared, and then he just throws it away, and he's like very cool, nothing happens to him. And another time, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra find Shankha Chakra in the footsteps that he took inside the puja room. So they know that this is Avatara Purusha. And then similar to Krishna's Balya Leelas, childhood, our Sachimata gets complaints from several neighbors in the area. They all complain, and here the neighbors are actually all Pandits. Like I said, Navadvip was the center of education. Lot of Pandits around. So all these Pandits come and complain. So one Pandit comes and says, see, I was minding my own business. I was sitting in the Ganga river, next to the Ganga river, and I was doing japa. When this Nimai came and dug the sand that's behind me, and I fell into that pit. And Jagannath Mishra is really embarrassed. He's like, Nimai, why did you do so? Nimai says, he was actually not doing a japa. He was just counting how much money he's going to make by doing puja in different houses. That's why I made him fall down. So things go on like this, and then at one point, Vishwarupan, the elder brother of Nimai, he takes sannyasa. He decided to take sannyasa. He was in the Advaita Acharya's Patashala, and Advaita Acharya not just teaches the theoretical portions, he also teaches the practical aspects, and he has kind of installed in him that bhakti can only be realized if you do practical things. So he thinks that taking sannyasa is the best thing. So he takes his best friend, and in the middle of the night they leave the house, and they are gone. And in the morning, everybody, Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra, they are worried and they are looking for Vishwarupan. They are really worried. And then at that point, Jagannath Mishra says, it's okay. Let him do what he wants to do in his life. If this is the goal that he has, let him go. And so eventually Vishwarupan becomes a Mahapurusha, just like Advaita Acharya had predicted. And he takes sannyas, and he then he lives in Pandharpur for a long time after that. So Vishwarupan is now gone. So it's time for Nimai to get Upanyasam, to have Upanyasam as well as start his education in the Patashala. But Sachimata doesn't want to send him, because she has already lost one son to sannyasa. She thinks like that. It's a mother, right? So she thinks that she has already lost one son to sannyasa. She doesn't want to lose another son taking sannyasa again. So she doesn't want him to send him to school. Then our Nimai convinces Sachimata that he should go to school. So they eventually send him to Gangadhar's Patashala to learn Vyakaranam. And within a few months, Nimai is a child prodigy. So he learns everything quickly. Within a few months, he starts teaching his teachers. So that much brilliant he is. And he learns all the things that are there to learn. But he's also very kind to his friends. So there is a friend called Raghunath Pandit, who is much senior to Nimai. He's about 15 years senior to Nimai. And he has been studying this Tarka Shastra for a long time. He's been learning it, and he's been writing a book on Tarka Shastra for several years. And he thinks that book will be the best book in the world. Everybody will praise him, he will become a Vidwan, and he'll get maybe chances to speak in different places and all that. So he's like that. And then he hears from some of the friends that Nimai is also writing a book on Tarka. And so he goes and asks Nimai, are you writing a book on Tarka? Nimai says, I'm just scribbling something here and there. It's not a book or anything, I'm just few papers, I'm just scribbling here and there. And he says, can you show me the book? And he says, I'll bring it one day. I'll bring it to school one day, or wherever we go, I'll bring it. So then one day, this Raghunath Pandit and Nimai are going on a boat on the river Ganga. And Nimai says, oh, you asked me for that Tarka notes, right? I have brought those. So he shows Nimai shows those notes to Raghunath Pandit. And Raghunath starts reading it. He reads it fully. And after reading it, he starts crying. He's like inconsolably crying. He's crying. I spent my whole life, I spent the last 15-20 years working on this book on Tarka Shastra. And what you have written here is so profound. It's so much more, has more insights, that if your work ever gets published, my book, nobody will even touch it. It's like that. So he feels so bad about it. And then Nimai is like, oh, is that the reason you're crying? No big deal. And he throws those papers into Ganga, into the river. And you will see that in Mahaprabhu's whole Charitram, you will see that all he wrote, all that was published, that is available today, is Sikshashtakam, which is 8 verses glorifying the Bhagavan Nama. That's all he wrote. All his other works are not available. So that's how he was. For his friends, he was able to give up the book that he was writing. So Nimai's fame slowly spreads throughout that region, in Navadvip and also throughout Bengal. And meanwhile, his father Jagannatha Mishra attains Bhagavan's Charana. And after that, Nimai starts thinking, I need to start earning for the family. So he thinks, maybe I should start teaching, now that he has a lot of knowledge, even though in a very short time, he's become a Pandit. And he thinks he should start a Patashala. And there are a lot of demand for his Patashala, because he's known to be very brilliant. So a lot of parents of the students who want to enroll, they offer him their house to come and teach. So he picks one of the house, and he decides to start a Patashala. It is called Nimai's Patashala. And at the same time, he also gets married to Lakshmi Devi, his childhood friend. And in that time, his fame is growing more and more. And so in those days, these pandits, sometimes they go to different cities and they want to have competitions with other pandits. So there is this Keshava Pandit who had a title of Digvijay Pandit. And he visited Navadvip, and he wants to have competition with all the pandits. Now all the other pandits are scared of him, because if he defeats them, what he does is he takes away all their title. All their titles go to him, and they have to do service to him. They have to wash their clothes and do different things. So they're all afraid, so they give leave to all the students. They are like, let's take 2 weeks of vacation, we are going to not be here, not have competition with him. So at that time, Nimai is the only one, he's still running the school. This Keshava Pandit is like, how dare he run the school? He's not scared of me, let's have a competition. So they have a competition, and our Nimai easily defeats him. And that this Keshava Mishra actually had a boon from Saraswati Devi that nobody could be able to defeat him. And so once he's defeated, this Keshava Mishra goes back and he's like very angry with Saraswati Devi. He's shouting, how dare you allow somebody to defeat me? And then Saraswati Devi comes and tells him, this is none other than Krishna, so it's not a human being. I gave you the vara that no human beings will be able to defeat you. But this is an avatara of Krishna himself. And then Keshava Mishra becomes, his ego comes down. He falls on the feet of our Nimai, and then he becomes a much better person after that. And so also during those times, there used to be students, teachers taking the students and going on yatras where they go to different cities and compete in competitions with students from those cities, different cities. So Nimai's students also want to do this. So they want him to take them, and that's an educational opportunity for them. It's like a field trip. So they want him to take, so they go to East Bengal, which is Bangladesh today, and there they are competing with different schools. They are doing this competition. So there is a person there called Tapana Mishra. So this Tapana Mishra, the way he was he was a very pious person. He believed in God, and he wanted to kind of find the best way to do bhakti, but he was very confused. So one day he would attend a pravachan on some type of yoga, and he will start doing that yoga for some time. Then next week he'll attend some course on Hatha Yoga. They'll say, okay, if you sit in one place, if you meditate, if you stand on one leg and meditate for 100 hours, you can start flying. He would believe that. And he would start doing that. Then somebody else would say, do Nama Sankirtan. Somebody else would say, follow Advaita. Somebody else would say, follow Dvaita. He would do everything. Whatever they say, he'd start following it. He was very confused. But the one thing he was doing was every night he would pray to Krishna that, Krishna, please save me. Show me the right path. I don't know, because I'm so confused. So that night, Krishna comes in his dream and says, there is this person called Nimai Pandit who has come to your town. So go and meet him. He will show you the right way. And so Tapana Mishra says, he's still arguing with Krishna. He's saying, you are here in my dream. Why don't you tell me right now what is the path? Why are you telling me to go meet him? And Krishna says, no, this person is none other than me. He's actually even more beautiful than me. So go and meet him, and he will tell you the right path. So now Tapana Mishra can't wait to meet Nimai. So next day, he comes to the Patashala where Nimai is staying, and starts telling Nimai what happened. So Nimai is kind of like, let's not do this in public, let's go to the side. And Nimai talks to him, and Nimai does Upadesham of Nama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So Tapana Mishra listens to this, and he says, this is all? This is the path? So simple? Are there no rules on this? Why is this so easy? So in Sikshashtakam, our Mahaprabhu says, Nam Akari Bahuda, Nija Sarva Shakti, Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Na Kala. There is no time for this. There is no niyama. There are no rules for this Mahamantra. And this Mahamantra is full of potency, and it will take you where you need to go. So now Tapana Mishra understands and he starts doing Nama. And later in Mahaprabhu's life, Mahaprabhu actually comes and stays with him in Kashi for several years. That is the effect of this Nama chanting that he started at that time. So the yatra ends where they were in East Bengal. They all, the students and Nimai come back. They come back to Navadvip and to find that Lakshmi Devi has passed away. Mahaprabhu, Nimai's wife, has passed away. She has attained Bhagavan's Charanam because of the viraha that she had without Nimai being there. So she passes away, and Mahaprabhu is really sad. And then Sachimata says, a grahastha should not be unmarried for a long time, so they get her married a second time to Vishnupriya Devi. And our Guruji says here, Vishnupriya and Nimai, the way they led their life was very similar to Jayadeva and Padmavati that we heard about a couple of days ago in Jayadeva's Charitram. So it was like that, so they were leading a life. And sometime later, our Mahaprabhu, Nimai says to Sachimata, Amma, Appa's Shraddham is coming, so I want to go to Gaya and do the Shraddham. So she says, okay, Gaya is very close by. So he and along with some associates, they go to Gaya for a Gaya yatra. And in Gaya, they go to Vishnupadam. And at Vishnupadam, as soon as they go there, Mahaprabhu starts feeling something different. And as the pandas there, they are doing the mantras, Vishnu Smaya Namaha, Vishnave Namaha, they start doing it, he starts going into a trance. He starts thinking about how this padam, these feet are the one that were on Bali Chakravarti during Vamana Avatara. This is the pada dhuli that gave Ahalya her papa vimochanam. And this is the pada that was cherished by Bharata in Ramayana. He starts thinking about all that. And as he is in this trance, he swoons and he falls down. And everybody around him is like, okay, what do we do? He fell down. Is there anything wrong? Is there any medical problem that he's having? And there is this Mahatma called Ishwarapuri, who is visiting Gaya, the Vishnupadam at the same time. And Ishwarapuri is, like I said, Madhavendra Puri comes back again now. So Ishwarapuri is a Shishya of Madhavendra Puri from that Madhva Sampradaya. And he is a great Mahan, and Madhavendra Puri has already told Ishwarapuri that there will be a great Mahatma that comes and meets you. So, and he also knows the Lakshanas of the Bhakti. So he knows that our Nimai, having become unconscious, is not a medical condition or anything. It is just that he has got that Bhakti Avesham, he has fallen down. And so he takes him to his house where Mahaprabhu wakes up, and he does seva to Ishwarapuri as his own guru. He does seva, he cooks for him, he serves him. And then at that night, Ishwarapuri gets a dream of his guru, Madhavendra Puri, where Madhavendra Puri says, you remember, I transferred you all my tejas, and I told you that you should give it to another person who comes. And this is the same person that has come to you today. And this is the person that is going to spread Nama throughout this world. And this is the person that had told Advaita Acharya to pray to do the Hunkara. And that is the person who has come now. So the next day, Ishwarapuri gets up and he initiates our Nimai on the Gopala Krishna mantra. Gopi Jana Vallabhaya Namaha. So as soon as he gets that Upadesha from the Guru, from Ishwarapuri, Mahaprabhu is completely transformed. He starts crying and he starts jumping. He's like constantly chanting Nama. He's completely transformed. He was this great Pandit who had this, he used to go and fight and debate with everybody. Now he's completely transformed. He's crying and he's laughing and he's jumping and he's showing all the Bhakti Bhavas. Our Guruji says there are 19 Bhakti Bhavas, such as Romanjitam, Ananda Pashpam, Pulakangitam, Gadgadai, Murchai, all of that. And it's said that Radharani was the only person who exhibited all these 19 bhavas. And now our Mahaprabhu is exhibiting all those Bhakti Lakshanas. And he's dancing and he's singing a Krishna Kirtan and he's jumping. So all the people who came with him, who are around him, they are like, we don't know what to do. What is the solution for this? How do we fix this? Is there a fix to this? and they are scared. What do we do? So somehow, if you bring him back to Sachimata and leave him in his house, that's enough. They kind of start thinking like that. And so he keeps saying, Mahaprabhu keeps saying, I want to go to Vrindavan. He starts running towards Vrindavan. So they kind of restrain him and they say, okay, let us take you to Vrindavan. And they fool him saying they are taking him to Vrindavan, but they are actually taking him back to Navadvip, to Sachimata's house. So he comes back to Navadvip, and Sachimata and Vishnupriya, both of them are stunned. What happened? He used to be so cheerful and engaging with everybody, playing pranks on everybody, doing everything. Now he's like completely lost in his own world. He's almost like a cloth that's fallen down. He's like always in some Viraha Bhava. He's either in that Viraha Bhava or he's jumping about dancing. That's all he's doing. So is this some kind of madness? And then everybody around in the city start asking, did you see Nimai? Something happened to him, I think. He went to this Gaya, and since then he has been acting crazy, but his face still has this stages. So we don't know what happened. So people in the street are gossiping and everybody is talking, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself starts getting this doubt. Am I mad? Did something happen to me? He starts getting this doubt. So one day, one family friend of Sachimata, Srivasa Pandit, he comes home and he sees Mahaprabhu circling around a tulsi plant, and he's chanting Nama. He sees Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu asks, have I gone mad? What has happened to me? I'm chanting Nama all the time, I'm doing this all the time. So at that time Srivasa Pandit says, no. All you have is you're exhibiting bhavas of bhakti. I wish I could get this madness. You have the highest level of madness that one can have. And your house, your city, your whole country, and this whole world is going to become dhanyam, is going to celebrate you because of this Nama, this madness. And so once Srivasa Pandit explains it to Sachimata and to Vishnupriya, they are a little bit relieved. They think, okay, this is not madness, this is more of bhakti. And his close friend, Mahaprabhu's close friend, there is Gadadhara, who used to be his classmate from childhood, from the Patashala. He's always with him. So one day Gadadhara and Mahaprabhu are talking, and Gadadhara says, let's go out and do some, let's go to the beach, or let's go to Ganga river, or let's meet our friends. And Mahaprabhu says, I don't want to do anything. I just want to chant Nama, be here. And Gadadharan is insisting, let's go and meet somebody at least. So then Mahaprabhu says, let's get all the Pandits in this city. Let's get Advaitacharya, Shriman Pandit, Srivasa Pandit, Sadasiva Pandit, Murari Gupta, Neelambara Chakravarti, everybody. And let's meet at Shukramra Brahmachari's house. Let's meet and let them decide whether I have a madness or this is something else. So Gadadhara goes and talks to each of those people and invites them to Shuklamra Brahmachari's house, and they are all assembled there. And Nimai now describes the Gaya Yatra. He says, I went to Gaya, I took the darshan of the Pada, and I have this Anubhava, I swooned and fell down, and then I met Ishwarapuri, and then Ishwarapuri gave me this mantra upadesham, and since that mantra upadesham, I have been constantly in this feeling that I'm not normal. I started chanting Nama, I'm jumping and I'm sad sometimes, I'm missing Krishna, I want to go to Vrindavan, all this is happening. And he also says one more thing happened. On the way back from Gaya to Navadvip, we were in this place called Natashala, where I was not able to sleep. I'm not able to sleep nowadays. And I was trying to sleep, and then I slowly heard melodious flute coming from somewhere. And then I started searching where it was coming from. Then I started hearing anklets, Nupuradhvani, chal sound. And I heard and I started going towards the sound, and in the garden I saw Krishna as Rajagopala. He gave me darshan. Shamam hiranya paridim vanamalya barha dhatu pravala natavesha anuvratam se vinyastahastam itarena dhunanam abjam karnot palalaka kapola mukhabjahasam. So this is the portion in Srimad Bhagavatam where Krishna gives darshan to Yajnapatnis. And that darshan Mahaprabhu had got. So he is describing this to all the people who are assembled. As soon as he describes it, he gets this bhava, and again he swoons and falls down. He is again unconscious. And all these pandits are around, they are standing around, they don't know what to do. Sadasiva Pandit goes and touches him. Nimai, get up. And as soon as he touches him, it's almost like electricity hitting. He falls down and starts shouting, Krishna, Krishna. He starts shouting. And then Murari Gupta goes and tries to wake him up. He again falls in another direction. He's chanting Nama. He's shouting Krishna. And one by one, all the people who are there they all start getting this bhava, Krishna bhava. And they all start dancing around. They are chanting Nama. They are shouting and they are rolling around. And finally, there is Gadadhara, who was actually secretly watching it from another room, because he wanted to see what all these pandits are going to tell about Nimai. Are they going to tell that he's mad or something else? He's watching from there. And Mahaprabhu finally says, Gadadhara, why are you standing there? Come to me. And he hugs him and he starts jumping. So the entire room is filled with Nama Sankirtan and dancing and jumping. They are all like so joyful. Our Guruji says here that in the guise of telling this story, this Gayatra story, Mahaprabhu is actually doing a dhanam of Prema Bhakti. He's showing what is Prema Bhakti. He is not giving a lecture on Prema Bhakti. He's showing them practically what is Prema Bhakti, and they are all like immersed in this Prema Bhakti. Chaitanya Deva Sharanam, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sharanam, Sharanam, Chaitanya Deva Sharanam. Krishna Premayenu Aruvile, Krishna Premayenu Aruvile, Yennayum Neelatiduvayi Niye, Chaitanya Deva Sharanam, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sharanam, Sharanam, Chaitanya Deva Sharanam. So all of them are trembling, and they have this beautiful form of Krishna that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had described in their mind as they go home that night. So you will see from now on, you will see that duality that we mentioned at the beginning. You will see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is both a Bhakta and a Bhagavan. Constantly you will see that duality. And so by this time, Nimai has not been teaching in his Pathashala because he's not able to focus on anything else except Nama and Krishna. And so his Pathashala, he decides to close his Pathashala. So all the students are really sad that the Pathashala has been closed. So Mahaprabhu says, no matter what you do in your life, make sure that you hold on to this Nama. No matter how big of a Pandit you become, do this Nama Kirtan. That will help you throughout your life. And after that, after some time, Srivasa Pandit and Nimai are speaking one day. And Nimai says, now that I don't have my Pathashala, I want to at least do a bhajan group. I want to start a bhajan ashram. And he says, let's start doing bhajans, Nama Sankirtanam. And Srivasa says, okay, sure, Nimai, where do you want us to do this? He says, sure, you can do it in your house. And so they invite Sadasiva Pandit, Murari Gupta, Nandanacharya, Gadadhara, Ratnagarbar, all of them. And then they start a bhajan group. So every night, it starts at night. Everybody joins. They do Nama Sankirtanam throughout the night, throughout the whole night. So that was their daily practice. And Mahaprabhu here shows how a satsang should be conducted, how Nama Sankirtanam should be done. So he would start a Srimad Bhagavatam sloka. Nama Sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukkha shamanaha tam namami harim param. Then he would explain the significance of that sloka. And then they would all start doing Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So this would go on throughout the night. And another thing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did was, he would, once the people who are supposed to come came, they all assembled, he would close the door. Nobody was allowed to come in or go out. He did this because he didn't want people who are not totally interested to come and chit chat or do any other things, gossip or anything there. So he wanted to, that's why he closed the door. But a lot of people in the city didn't like it, that this is a closed group, they are doing Nama by themselves, And also there were a lot of Muslims, right? It was a Mughal rule. So they also didn't like that loud Nama Sankirtan was going on every night. They are not able to sleep. So they went and complained to the Qazi, who is the magistrate of that region. They went and complained to him. And the Qazi initially said, what are they doing? They're just chanting peacefully Nama. What is your problem? Then they started saying, this is going to affect your Mughal king. They're going to attack at some point. So then Qazi is like, okay, I need to take some action. And he says, okay, I'm going to ban this Nama Sankirtanam. I'm going to start arresting people. And then this news spreads in the whole of Navadvip. Everybody's talking that this group is going to be arrested. Srivasa Pandit initially was not concerned. It was the Nama Sankirtanam is happening in Srivasa Pandit's house, right? So initially he was not concerned. But then he started hearing Srivasa Pandit is going to be arrested. He's the only person who is going to be arrested because his house is where this is happening. So he starts getting scared. He's like, oh, will something happen? Then on another hand, he thinks, we have Imai, we have our own Krishna with us. What will happen? Nothing can happen. He has these two minds. And the next day was Narasimha Jayanti. So he's doing puja to his Narasimha Bhagavan, but his mind has this wavering thoughts. On one side, he thinks it's okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is with us. On another side, he thinks, what if I get arrested? What will happen to my family? Who will support my family? So he has this mixed feelings. And at the same time, our Mahaprabhu is doing Srimad Bhagavatam Parayana. And he is in Prahlada Charitra story in that section. And as he's doing it, as he finishes up the avatara, when Hiranyakashipu is being torn apart by Narasimha, at that point, he immediately gets that avesha. He gets into this Narasimha Bhava. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets into this Narasimha Bhava. He starts walking really fast towards Srivasa Pandit's house and starts banging at the door. He's like, Srivasa, come out, come out. And Srivasa and his family, they know Mahaprabhu is like a gentle soul. He's always been gentle. They're like, we don't know what happened. So they open the door. As soon as they open the door, Srivasa knows what's going on. So the Narasimha puja that he was doing, he removes the Narasimha Bhagavan, makes Mahaprabhu sit there and starts doing all the archanas to Mahaprabhu, and then he falls on his feet and prays. Finally they do the Mangala Harati and fall on his feet and they pray. And but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still in that Narasimha Bhava. He says, Srivasa, how can you be afraid of this Nama Sankirtan, doing this Nama Sankirtan? How can you be afraid of all the rumors that are going on? Don't you know who I am? Don't you know what I'll do? I'll make people chant Nama all the time. If they don't chant, I'll plead with them. If they don't chant, I'll beg them to do it. I'll fall on their feet. If they still don't chant Nama, I'll threaten them. And if they still don't chant Nama, I'll tear them to pieces. And he's still in that Narasimha Avesha Bhava. And Srivasa says, I'm so sorry, I doubted anything. I'm really sorry. And then falls on his feet again. And at that point, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is still in that Bhava. And there is Srivasa Pandit's granddaughter, Narayani, who is sleeping peacefully. It's a couple months old baby, sleeping peacefully. And our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I can make even Pasu, Pakshi, any type of living being, chant this Mahamantra. So he goes and touches Narayani and says, Narayani, Namam Sollu, chant Nama. And immediately Narayani starts chanting, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So this Nama spreads, this incident becomes really famous throughout Navadvip. All of their friends there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, come to know about this incident, and they are all now, they feel empowered that nothing wrong has happened. They can keep chanting this Nama. So next day, Mahaprabhu says, let's do it even louder. Let's actually do a Nagar Sankirtan. Let's go on the city streets and let's do this Nama. So they decide to go on a Nagar Sankirtanam. Word spreads throughout Navadvip that there is a Nagar Sankirtanam being organized by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everybody starts gathering. There are thousands of people. And Mahaprabhu is now going through the streets of Navadvip, dancing and singing the holy name, and he is jumping in joy during the Nagar Sankirtanam. We all experienced during our Rath Yatra in Puri Kshetra visit. we saw our own Mahaprabhu, our Guruji, also dancing and jumping and singing the same way. So similarly, Mahaprabhu is jumping and going through the streets of Navadvip, and they actually go near the house of this Qazi, this magistrate, who was supposed to ban them. Right? So they go next to that street, and Qazi is like, okay, there are thousands of these people coming. Are they going to attack me for even thinking about banning them? He's so afraid. And so they pass nearby, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calmly goes and talks to Qazi, has a discussion. And this Chandakasi, he says, you know, actually I was supposed to ban your whole Nama Sankirtan movement yesterday. But what happened was, yesterday night, in my dream, I had this really weird dream. I don't know what that creature was. It had the head of a lion, human body, and it had claws like a lion. It came and tore at my chest. I felt like it was actually tearing my chest. And I woke up in a sweat. I was like really scared. I woke up in a sweat, and I saw I had marks on my chest, actual real marks. And so I got really scared, so I didn't ban you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, it's all okay. He touches Chandakasi and all the marks go away. So Chandakasi also becomes a big bhakta, and after that there is one of the bhaktas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Haridas Thakur, who comes to Navadvip. Haridas Thakur was a Muslim, and just like Kabir Das, he had listened to this Nama because Nama had spread throughout that region by then. So he had been listening to this, and he got a ruchi for Nama. He started chanting this Nama, and he was constantly chanting Nama. So it's said that he would chant 3 lakh Namas a day. And some of his Muslim friends heard that he's chanting this Nama, which is a Hindu thing, and they said, why are you doing this? You're a Muslim. And Haridas says, I'm not able to control myself. I want to control myself. Just like I cannot control my breath, I cannot stop chanting this Nama. So I'm chanting. So they get really mad at him, they beat him up nicely, and they actually think he's dead and throw him in the river Ganga. And he floats and comes to Navadvip. He is actually living with, he meets Advaitacharya, and he's living with Advaitacharya, and then he also joins the satsang of our Mahaprabhu. He starts also chanting Nama with Mahaprabhu, and all this is going on. And one day Mahaprabhu, usually they do their Nama Sankirtan at night, and one day Mahaprabhu is there at Srivasa Pandit's house in the morning, and everybody is curious, why is he there in the morning? So Advaitacharya and all the close associates, Murari Gupta and Sadasiva Pandit, Nandanacharya, all of them, they come over to Srivasa Pandit's house. And after some time, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gets into a Bhagavat Avesha. He gets into a Bhava, Bhagavat Bhava. He sits on a Vishnu Simhasanam. There is a Vishnu Simhasanam there. He sits on it, and he's like, he's in this Prabhava. His face is shining. He is almost like Vishnu himself. And so Advaitacharya and everybody ask him, is it okay if we do Tirmanjanam to you? Mahaprabhu, they know that it's an avatara, right? So they say, can we do Tirmanjanam to you? So he says, yes, go ahead. So they do Tirmanjanam, they do all the upachara as if in a Tirmanjanam to Mahaprabhu for 21 hours continuously. And during that time, Mahaprabhu gives darshan to various devotees according to their own beliefs and Ishta Devatas. So Murari Gupta gets the Varaha Avatara. Our Nityananda gets Shadbhuja Narayana Darshan. Different darshans all the devotees get. And then finally Haridasa doesn't ask for anything. So our Mahaprabhu asks Haridasa, what do you want? So Haridas says, I just want to keep chanting this Nama, I don't want anything else. And he asks, I just have one wish. I should be able to, I have a promise or I have a sankalpa to do this 3 lakh Namas every day. And I should be able to do it every day in my life. The day I'm not able to do it should be my last day in this life. So Mahaprabhu says, so be it, let that happen. And then after that, Mahaprabhu takes sannyasa. He decides to take sannyasa. He thinks that being a sannyasi would be even more powerful for the Nama. So he takes sannyasa from Keshava Bharati. Vishnu Priya and Sachimata object, and they are crying and they are like, why do you want to do this? You can still do this being a grahastha. But then he doesn't listen. He goes and takes sannyasa, and then he goes on a Puri Kshetra visit. So he and his devotees, they go to Puri Kshetra, and he enters the Simhadwara in Puri. And as he enters the Simhadwara, he gets into this Bhagavat Avesha. He runs towards Jagannatha. He wants to go and hug Jagannatha. As he's running to hug Jagannatha, the Pandas there stop him. As soon as they stop him, again he goes moche, he falls down unconscious. And again, people there don't know what to do. There is this great scholar, Vasudeva Sarvabhaumar, who is there. He takes him home, and he's a sannyasi now, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Bharati. So he takes this sannyasi home. He does puja, just like you would do to any sannyasi. He does puja and asks all the devotees, who is this person? Where is he from? So they all say this is, he used to be called Nimai Pandit. He's from Navadvip. He is the grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti. And as soon as he hears the name, this Vasudeva Sarvabhaumar is like, oh, that Nilambar Chakravarti, he was my classmate when we were in Padashala. This is his grandson. Oh, that's all. Okay. He starts taking him very lightly. He starts saying, once Mahaprabhu wakes up, he starts giving advice to Mahaprabhu. He says, you shouldn't have taken sannyas at such a young age. You are only 24 and you were recently married. Why are you taking this sannyas? Why did you take it sannyas? Take this sannyas. You should have learnt more. What kind of knowledge do you have? Do you even know anything? Then Mahaprabhu says, no, the only thing I know is Ama. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's the only thing I know. And then he takes him even more lightly now, even more casually. So he says, as a sannyasi, you should be learning a lot of different scriptures and a lot of different jnana you need to gain. So come to my school. I have a patashala. I teach a lot of sannyasis, lot of students. Come to my school and sit every day. So now Mahaprabhu, quietly, he's sitting in a corner every day, listening to this Vasudeva Sarvabhaumar teaching. So one day pass, 2 days pass. Vasudeva Sarvabhaumar is trying to attract this young brahmachari. He's trying to show his knowledge, and he thinks that he'll say, wow, that was great. But no, he doesn't get any of that reaction. He's just silently sitting. And after like a week, Vasudeva Sarvabhaumar loses his patience. He goes to Nibai and to our sannyasi, and he asks, okay, sannyasi, did you understand anything that I taught in the last 1 week? You're just sitting there quietly. He says, I'm a little bit confused. Yeah, see, I know that you are really confused. That's why you're sitting quietly. He says, no, I'm not confused about the thing that you're teaching. You are very knowledgeable. All the material that you're teaching is very nice, but it's not practical. None of it is practical. You don't know what bhakti is. You don't know what practical bhakti is. You don't know what nama is. You don't know all that. You're just theoretical and you've been teaching this. And at that point, Vasudeva Sarvabhaumar realizes his folly. He realizes his mistake and falls on the feet of Mahaprabhu. He becomes one of the biggest devotees of Mahaprabhu going forward. So Mahaprabhu lived 48 years in total. That was his lifespan. And 24 years before sannyas and 24 years after sannyas. And he lived the last portion of his life in Puri Kshetra. The king that was ruling at that time was King Prataparudran. Prataparudran is a great devotee of Krishna and of Puri Jagannatha. And he really has heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and wants to get his katakshan. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being a sannyasi now, he cannot meet kings. He doesn't want to meet kings. He says, if you bring the king to me to meet, I'll run away from this place. I'll not be here. So he doesn't want to meet him. And then one day, the big Jagannath Rath Yatra happens. During the Rath Yatra, King Prataparudran comes there. He's sweeping the floor before the Rath. And at that time, Mahaprabhu is singing, Jaya Jaya Deva, Jaya Jagannatha, Jala Jalochana, Jaya Janardana, Jaya Jaya Deva, Jaya Jagannatha, Jala Jalochana, Jaya Janardana. So singing this, he falls moche, he falls down. So as soon as he falls down, they take him to a garden nearby, and Advaita Acharya also says tells to Prataparudran, this is a good chance for you to meet Mahaprabhu. So remove all your Kritam and all the jewelry that you have, and then come to Mahaprabhu and just touch his feet. That's it. So he comes and he's at the feet. He starts singing the Gopika Geetam. Jayati te dikam janmana vraja shrayata indira shashvadatrahi. So as soon as he starts singing this Gopika Geetam, immediately Mahaprabhu gets up. He goes and hugs Prataparudran, and so Prataparudran also gets his kataksham. And finally, Mahaprabhu does yatra of whole of India as a sannyasi, and he finally goes back to Navadvip, and he is actually very close to where Vishnupriya is living. Now Vishnupriya is missing our Mahaprabhu, and she is living there by herself. Sachi Mata is no more at this point, and Vishnupriya really wants to meet Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi and he is not supposed to meet women at all. So she's like, I don't know how to approach. She thinks, I'll not think of him as my husband, but I'll think of him as my Bhagavan. That's all I'll do, and I'll go and meet him. So when Mahaprabhu crosses the street where Vishnupriya lives, she runs to him and falls on his feet. And Mahaprabhu is like, who is this lady? And she says, I'm Vishnupriya. But he doesn't even turn to her. He just leaves his padukas there and then walks away. So what happens to Vishnupriya after this is, she's going to take those padukas, and throughout her life, now she has a gati. That was her gati that she got. And she prays to those padukas throughout her life. And our Guruji says that it's not a ascharyam, it's not a wonder that Mahaprabhu eventually merged with Jagannatha. It's a wonder that Vishnupriya merged with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's paduka. That is the amazing part. So Mahaprabhu again comes back to Puri, and he's constantly chanting Nama, doing the Nama Sankirtan movement. And at that point, somebody comes and tells him, Haridas Thakur, who has been living in Siddha Bakula, he's been chanting Nama under this Bakula tree for 3 lakh times every day. Now he's in a very bad health. He's almost on his last days. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes and meets him, and he breathes his last. The day he was not able to chant this 3 lakh namas, he dies saying Chaitanya Deva. That is his last words, and he reaches Bhagavan's charana. And Mahaprabhu then takes Haridas Thakur's body and carries him, and he's jumping. He's singing Nama. He was initially very sad that Haridas Thakur is no more. Mahaprabhu would not try for anything else except Nama, but this time for Haridas Thakur he actually cries initially, but then he starts telling all his devotees, actually, you know what, I see Haridasa going to Gokula. I see him going to Krishna Charana, and he's dancing. He's saying we should all celebrate this Gokula Vijayam. And he also does the final rites for Haridasa. He also wants to do a celebration Annadanam for his Gokula Vijaya of Haridasa. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally goes to each house, starts begging for alms for this Annadanam. Even though he was friends with Prataparudran, he had the whole bhandar of the king to access. But he went to each house, he begged for food, and he does this Annadanam for the Gokula Vijayam of his favorite Bhakta. Haridasa Thakur was one of his favorite Bhaktas. Then he spends his final days, Mahaprabhu spends almost 6 years, last 6 years of his life with one devotee, Swarupa Damodaran. He spends those final days in a complete Viraha Bhava. That is the Radharani Bhava that we spoke about at the beginning. He spends in that Bhava. He goes to Jagannath Puri temple once in a while, but otherwise he's in this Gambhira Guha all alone. And finally one day he goes to Jagannath temple alone by himself. And the Pandas are like, usually he has this whole Goshti with him, this whole gang. He's all alone today. They are surprised. And they're even more surprised when he starts going to the inner sanctum, to the Garbhagriha. He enters there and then he merges with Jagannatha. this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is no more. So I'll finish with one sloka from Sikshashtakam that Mahaprabhu says, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapanam Shreyaha Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadu Jivanam Anandambudi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnam Mrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So he says, this Bhagavan Nama will clear all the anarthas that is accumulated in the mirror of our heart. This Bhagavan Nama will relieve us from the scorching heat of samsara. This Bhagavan Nama will be the solace of all jivas. Let there be victory to this Krishna Sankirtanam. Radhe Radhe. Thank you so much.